Are you ready?
I was born ready.
What's up, everybody? Welcome on into episode 11 of the Stocky and Alex Show, the podcast that covers topics around the world, business, news, markets, money, sports. People are talking about it, and so are Stocky and I. The Stocky and Alex Show can be watched, listened, and viewed on YouTube and Spotify. It will also soon be able to be downloaded and listened to wherever other podcasts are downloaded and listened to. Follow the show on Twitter, Insta, LinkedIn, TikTok, and all the other major socials. Everybody, for information about new episodes, for clips, moments, guys. Thank you all for being here. Stocky, what's up, dude? Happy Tuesday, the 25th of January.
Jeez, it's already January 20. Can you believe that this is 2 years? I think in 3 days it'll be 2 years since COVID officially hit the United States.
Yeah, I saw this funny graphic. It basically said the years of 2009 to 2014 are just nostalgia, and then it said 2015 to 2019 is just all in everybody's brain just 2016. We just kind of view that as, oh, that was just 2016, and then 2020 through 22 is just the plague, and it's just been the plague ever since, flying by.
Yeah. And every time we get so close to getting over it, some new strain comes out, and just when my wife's almost like, all right, I'm ready to go out in the world again, she's like, oh my God, we gotta hide again. So it's just always stuck in the house. And so I've been super busy. You remember I told you a few weeks ago about how I've been buying all these toys and been playing with them, I got the pressure washer, and then I put down the grass, and I got the leaf blower, and then the weed eater.
Being a dad.
So I went out and I spent this past weekend, and I was ripping up all the old, bushes and all the stuff out there, clearing out the gravel. Whoever lived here before is the evil person for putting that much rocks in there, and got out there. And I went and I got some citrus trees. Okay, I got a lemon bush. I got a orange tree, which is very hard to get in Florida. And I also got an avocado tree. So I waited until the weekend. Right? I waited until the weekend, did all this, planted them up. It's on the side of the house, watered them, got rid of all the evidence. And I was like, all right, we're good. We're good. Right? And then yesterday there was a note from the HOA.
Said, get him out of here.
I've been battling the HOA on everything. I told you about the swing and now this. I don't know if one of my neighbors is the snitch or not, but the HOA has a hard on for me. And I think it has to do with the last email I sent them. So I was going to send them this really mean email about how if you don't stop doing this, I'm going to have a lawyer do an audit you, and if there's any misappropriated funds in the last 10 years, I was going to do all that. And I said, you know what? That's not what I'm going to do. I said, let's do it the Stocky way, right? And so I wrote them an email, because if you want to make any changes to your property, you have to get approval through the architecture committee or whatever the hell they call themselves. So I wrote an email asking for approval for a hexagonal wooden thing in my backyard. And they said, can you give us the measurements? And so I sent them the measurements. They said, can we ask what this is for? I said, I'm going to start a cockfighting ring. And they did not find this funny. And I tried to explain to them that it was a joke, but apparently when you tell a bunch of 75-year-old retired people in Florida that you want to build a cockfighting ring in your backyard, they don't take it as a joke. So ever since then, I've been at war with my HOA. But how about you, buddy?
Maybe you can make that like a leverage point. Be like, well, since you're not going to let me have the cockfighting ring, let me just go ahead and keep all the orange tree. Let me keep the citrus that I'm trying to grow.
Or I build it anyways, and then when they try to take it down, I say it wasn't roosters and you hate gay people. Maybe that way they will they'll back off.
The Stocky way should have been, hey, I'm just going to throw their email into DGen chat, and you guys just basically pester them until they have no choice but to let me have these trees that I want.
No, because it'll be great email signed by Albert's Pool.
Guys, we had a great day. Today's Tuesday, the 25th of January. We had a great day. I was on hanging with Stocky earlier on his stream after I cut my stream. And so many people from Stocky's community were supportive on the Madrina's web store. But they had a great time. Everybody had a great time putting in whatever cheeky name they wanted to put in. Stocky's favorite of the day was Albert's Poo Hole. Thank you, everybody, by the way, that did order earlier. It was literally like a sixth grade humor that got me laughing, and I never stopped. Austin, even afterwards, was like, my favorite one was Drew P. Wiener. Wiener. I think that's like one of the most uncreative ones, but it's just, you say wiener and it's just funny. That word is just funny.
That's what I love about my community. It's a bunch of adults who act like kids, and I think that's the perfect mix. And that's why I always try to tell everybody, just because you grow old doesn't mean you have to grow up. And everyone needed humor this week. I mean, this has been my community trades, invests, degens, gambles, whatever you want to call it, in stocks. And it has been a rough week,
and most
no
people,
matter what way.
Most people either do get involved in the stock market or know someone or are related to someone that is involved. You know what I mean? So this is something that obviously everybody's kind of keying in on. Guys, we don't really talk about the stock market like proper, that often, because as it fluctuates and does its thing, Stocky covers that in the morning with granular detail. We kind of like to talk about other stories that are going on in the world, feature stuff that might be kind of interesting. However, the stocks, the market and how it's been swinging right now is beyond a news story that we need to cover. So our first article of the day, guys, comes from cheddar.com. Stocks climb back after steep slide on Fed. Ukraine jitters. I could read a little. Let me just read like one or two, but then Stocky, just take it away and just let us know what's been going on in the stock market.
Go for it, and then I'll just dive into it.
So, guys, the article says a volatile day on Wall Street ended Monday with stocks notching modest gains after climbing back from a steep slide that had knocked more than 1,200 points off the Dow Industrial Average. The late afternoon comeback pulled the S&P 500 out of so-called correction territory, a drop of 10% or more from its recent high. The market's gyration reflected investors' uncertainty over how aggressive the Federal Reserve's inflation fighting measures will be, and the possibility of conflict between Russia and Ukraine. So obviously there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. Inflation's been very real. Russia and Ukraine is very real. We're going to talk about that in a second. But what else has been going on? And give us at least the snapshot of the granular detail that you take everyone through.
All right, so if you want the detail, obviously everybody who listens to this most likely has already listened or seen my YouTube. I have a great YouTube video about talking about what's been going on leading up to this. But the TLDR is that stocks fell out of the sky when COVID hit, right? And everybody was expecting the economy to get crapped. And then all of a sudden the Federal Reserve lowered interest rates to zero, turned on the money printer, took $9 trillion in balance sheet, but on the books in debt, and basically IOUs to the government, was buying up all the junk debt, was letting everybody have all the money for basically 0%, right? So everybody went out and got money, and they bought houses and they bought cars, and then the government gave stimulus out, and then everybody put their money in the stock market, and then everything started getting saturated. Money, go. And then all of a sudden, everything is way overvalued, way overinflated. And the Fed is like, time to put the brakes on. And now everybody who's like, oh, crap. Because remember, in order for stocks to keep going up, especially when they're already overvalued, you need more money flowing in. And if there's going to be more expensive money, that means less money is going to be borrowed. That means there's less spending. And people are like, you know what? I made a lot of money. Let me get the hell out. And that just happened. And then Monday was insane. It took me, I was watching it live. It took me till after the data came out at the end of the day to see what happened. But just to give you an idea, the stock market on a very bad day in a normal market is down 0.5 to 0.75%. Okay, that's a very bad day. During COVID, we had what's called a market halt. That's 7% down. Now, 7% may not sound like a lot, but when you're talking about trillions of dollars, you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars gone, just disappearing out of the market. We saw the market drop 4% at one point. And then at noon, something happened. Something that's only happened 4 times in history, since we've been recording it. The market went from 4% down to green, okay? A 4% increase. That is a swing that we've only seen in 2008, 2001, and 1987. All 3 of those were market crashes, and we saw crazy volatility. The crazy thing that came out, though, and this is why I always tell any of the listeners out here, the market is about patient people taking money from impatient people. And let me tell you why, and this is something that is insane. Almost all of the money from 9:30 a.m. to noon that got wiped out, that left the market, was retail traders. It was hundreds of billions of dollars of regular people selling their stock, probably because they got margin called and they had to sell their shares to cover their debts, or they just got scared. And then as soon as that happened, the big money came in and said, thanks for the discount, and bought it, and it just went right back up. I was there. I made money on both sides. So, that's why I never have all my eggs in one basket and never, go leverage on margin. But that's what happened. And then today on Tuesday, almost happened again. We saw the market drop 2.5% during the day, and then it started going up again. And all my people were like, Stocky, we made so much money yesterday on the way up. It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. I kept saying, hey, listen, just because something happened before doesn't mean it's going to happen again. And then what happened is the market went all the way back up to green. Everybody said, you're an idiot, this. And I'm guessing. But then at 3 p.m., all
crash.
Gone. It just took it all back. And tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, is the Federal Reserve meeting that's going to dictate when, how much, and how often those rates are going to go up. And people are just, they don't know. They don't know.
So tomorrow you expect volatility?
I expect a lot of volatility the first hour, and then at like 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. But here's my prediction, okay? And I'm probably crazy for this, but here's what I think. I think we've already priced in between 4 to 5 rate hikes this year. I think we've priced in as much as 1% this year, whether it's 50 basis points followed by 25 basis points. I think, even though the Federal Reserve doesn't care about the stock market, I think that because they know that the unemployment rate isn't what it says, I think they come in and say they are going to do several rates this year, but they're going to price it in at 3 to 4 rates, which is hikes, which is one less. And I think the market explodes to the upside. And that I'm the only person who thinks that. But that's what I think happens. So if this podcast comes out before 2 p.m. tomorrow, we'll see if I'm right or wrong.
Ryan, we get this out before 2 p.m. tomorrow on the 26th. I think, I asked you, you're expecting volatility. At this point, when do you not expect volatility in this COVID pandemic world? I mean, I don't day trade. I'm in the market, but I'm not in the market like you are.
We're like 80% down in the market because of my people.
Yeah, that portfolio, by the way, is incredible. Thank you, everybody in Stocky's community, for memeing the absolute shit out of my money. Guys, or Stocky. So at some point, you're just kind of like, I'm expecting volatility every day. I mean, and it's got to be at its foundation just to create the pandemic world that we live in. I mean, I'm assuming.
Oh, I mean, we've been on the bull run, right? Like the market went 100% from the bottom of COVID to like the end of the year.
That's
right?
what I mean.
It was crazy. And then since Biden took office, and then since inflation started happening, and since we started getting close to all this stuff, then all of a sudden we started getting choppy, and now the correction. Now everybody who's saying, ugh, this is a crash. No, it's not a crash. Just so you guys know, 5% from all-time high down is a pullback. 10% is a correction. 20% is a bear market. 50% is a crash. We're not even close to a crash. We're 80% away from the crash, from the downside. Now, here's the other thing, okay? Volatility is crazy. A lot of people don't know, but my thing is there's this acronym called TINA. There is no alternative. That's where everybody's been putting their money in the market. You can't put it in real estate. The real estate bubble is crazy. You can't put it in cash because cash is dead. You can't put it anywhere, so everybody's just been putting it in the markets.
Well,
but
that's like at the core of what the interest rates are supposed to do, is just get people out there putting their money, getting it active.
But that's only supposed to last a certain amount of time. But because of all the shit that's been happening and waves of COVID and international and this and that, they're like, oh, crap. And then the inflation just started going. And so they got to pull the brakes. Now, here's the kicker, though. I'm not concerned about interest rates, the amount they go up, and how often they go up. What I care about, and this is something I'll be paying attention to, is their balance sheet and how they're going to clear it. You're talking about $9 trillion of a balance sheet. I want you to think of it like a garage sale. You have money. Your neighbor, who's your friend, is in a trailer. They're having a hard time. You lend them money. Then all of a sudden, you lend them money at 0% interest, and they're getting on their feet, but now they need some more help. So you start taking their, they offer you their old, lawnmower and their old CD player and their TV as collateral, and they say, okay, I'll take on this. But then all of a sudden, they go out and they do well, and now they buy a new TV and a new lawnmower and all this stuff. So they don't want their shit back, but you need to recover your money, right? So what do? You have a garage sale, and that's what the Fed's going to do. They're going to sell $100 billion a month in T-bills that they have in order to clear their balance sheet. And depending on how fast and how much they are throwing that in the market, T-bills are going to go, and then you have those rates fluctuate, which affects borrowing rates, which affects everything. So that's what I'll be paying attention to. I'm sorry I went on a tangent, but this is my wheelhouse.
If you're expecting them to just pump with T-bills, that's also expecting the borrowing rate to go up, the interest rate to go up, right? You're kind of expecting. Oh, here's just a random ad that's playing. You're kind of expecting interest rates to go up, right? If they're also going to pump T-bills into the market.
I mean, you do at the same time. So it gives us an indication. It gives me an indication of how serious they are on raising interest rates and where they're at. So regardless of what they say or what the market digests, I'm going to be paying attention to how much they're going to be clearing, how often. It's going to take them $100 billion per month for the next 2.5 years to clear them back down to $6 trillion on their balance sheet, which is still an insane amount. But they went 50% higher.
So, guys, there's a lot going on in the world. I know you're probably hearing about the stock market. It's swinging like crazy. I don't think that volatility is anything that's shocking to anybody anymore. It's just basically newsworthy, and you need to know like when it's happening. Ever since like what Stocky was talking about when the pandemic hit and everything crashed, and then the bull run, and it's just I feel like there's nothing anymore that shocks anybody. We're in this 2 years where, like I said, literally just like basically the plague for 2 years.
Yeah, but think about the people yesterday who went to work, came back and saw that the market closed up like 0.5%. They're like, oh, nice quiet day on the market. We're green. Not knowing that those of us that actively trade watched the sky fall out. We thought the market was going to crash. Retail traders margin called, liquidated, hedge funds coming in, one of the biggest swings in history. And they just opened up there. That's what I need to go back to. I need to go back to the boomer side and just, oh, I'm up today. That's nice. Must have been a good day on the market.
Yeah, you get done with an honest day's work and you look back and you're saying, okay, nice boy, nice snooze.
No, my 401k is up 0.5%. That must have been a good day. Maybe what's going on overseas isn't affecting the market so much. I guess I can go back to my life.
I mean, I'm talking about the pandemic a lot. A lot of this, is obviously pandemic created, but there's the whole other thing that is going on the other side of the world, guys. If you haven't been paying attention, there is some crazy stuff. There is some world-changing stuff happening over with Russia and Ukraine. This is also, like the Cheddar article stated, these jitters are also causing a lot of uncertainty, basically everywhere, whatever market you're looking at. If you guys don't know what's going on, an article here on KARE11, a news channel up in, I think the NBC affiliate up in Minneapolis, says what's happening with Russia and Ukraine and what might come next. It says the United States on Monday placed 8,500 troops on heightened alert to potentially work with NATO forces in Eastern Europe following Russia's mobilization of more than 100,000 troops around the Ukrainian border. It's the latest saga in a long-running complex dispute between Russia and Ukraine, which declared independence in 1991 after the fall of the Soviet Union, following a Ukrainian revolution that ousted a pro-Russian government in 2014. Putin's forces annexed Crimea and supported pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine in a war that has now lasted almost 8 years. This has been going on since Obama was in office. Basically, the long and the short of it, Obama responded. I mean, we responded. This side of the world responded with massive fluctuation in oil prices. However, basically nothing happened while Trump was in office, and now here we are, Biden's in office, and they're just going to go over and take the whole damn Ukraine.
Okay, well, this could be all day long, so let's not do that. But here's what I'm going to say. I talked about this on my stream before the election in 2020. This is something that I had focused on, and I had said, and I'm not a political person. Okay, just full disclosure, I have actually voted in presidential elections for 3 different presidential parties, for different parties. I voted for a Republican, I voted for a Democrat, I even voted for a Libertarian for president.
Dude, that's my exact track record. I have done Democrat, I've done Republican, and I've done Libertarian.
My first vote was 2004. I was in the military, so of course I voted for George W. Bush. Everybody was all patriotic. 2008, I voted for McCain. 2012, I voted for Obama. 2016, I voted for Gary Johnson. So I've actually voted for every party. So I'm not a centralist. And you know what I love? People like to try to insult me by saying, "Oh, you're such a centralist." I'm like, bro, you're complimenting me. Like I'm not gonna defend. I'm not gonna deny that. I'm gonna defend it. It means I'm not a brainwashed. Like my entire identity is based on a political party. Like I'm like good. I mean, you're telling me I have a brain. Good. I'm not just brainwashed to the fringes of each side. But I look at things not through a political scope. I look at it from an issue base, and I look at historical precedents. And I told them, I said, guys, be careful in 2021 if and when Biden wins, or especially if the Democrats take over, because historically, at least for the last 2 decades, we tend to see And it could be because, Republicans tend to do more military spending or tend to be more aggressive, which you may like or not like. But regardless of your personal politics on it, we have tended to see international belligerents become more, a little bit more jockeying for position when Democrats are in office. I mean, when Bush, came in office, we had a terrorist attack, and then it was like, we were all over the place, right? Like nothing else happened, right?
Well, that's what prompted my sort of snide remark. Is like it was. I'm with you, Team Gary Johnson, 2016. I voted for Gary way back then. However, this time around, when you're looking at what was going to go down over in Russia, if you're just looking at foreign policy, I felt like Biden getting elected would have been. I thought it was just like a no-brainer. This was going to happen. Like I thought, like this is just kind of like, how could you not see this coming when Democrats are in office? Just like you said.
Well, look at it with Clinton. 93, you had the World Trade Center, but I'm going to wipe that off because that was a terrorist attack. That wasn't a country attacking. But then you had the USS Cole, you had the Kosovo, the whole 9 things in the Balkans, right? That all happened. Bush is in office, the Republicans are in office, you had a terrorist attack, but you had no other country thing. Then Obama comes in office, and then all of a sudden, Iran starts doing its thing. Russia goes and takes Crimea, the whole 9 yards. Trump comes office, crazy as he was, still, we had diplomatic relations with North Korea. They agreed to stop their nuclear weapons testing. China was on economic sanctions, and they started having to back off. Russia, whether it's because of diplomatics or whatever, it kind of went away. And then I said to everybody, and they all called me a fucking alt-righter, Trumper or something. I was like, no, this is just what we end up seeing. Don't be surprised if we start seeing belligerents in the world start acting up, quote, whatever, in 2021. And now we've got China flexing its economic stuff and going after Taiwan, and then you've got Russia going after Ukraine, not Crimea, not a peninsula, an actual fucking country that's friends with NATO and everything like that. You have North Korea starting up their nuclear missile tests again. China just did a hyper ballistic missile through the southern hemisphere because it's not as guarded as the northern hemisphere. Like shit's getting real. And not only that, now we're in this position where today the announcement was that there's 8,500 troops that have been put on alert that might be going to Ukraine. They've already sent 200,000 tons of equipment over there. Spain is pushing over there. I don't think we're going to war, like a physical war. I think there's going to be more of a Cold War, but instead, more of an economic sanctions kind of thing. But Russia also has a lot of control on the EU because right now EU energy prices have been skyrocketing. People are running out of it. They can't afford it. And the only real, pipeline that gives them energy and natural gas and oil comes from Russia.
So the article goes on. It says, there's a couple ways to look at it. One of which it's a bit of an overreaction. They kind of stated, what do you make of U.S. troops being put on heightened alert? Yeah, okay. So the article says that it's a bit of an overreaction, that nothing has happened that would suggest there's a need for that. But on the other hand, it's prudent to be ready in case of any contingency. But it also sends a signal, I think, to Moscow that the U.S. and presumably at least some of its NATO allies are ready. Yeah, I mean, so obviously the article goes on. It's more of like a conversation between a couple people kind of sharing their opinions, just like what we're doing here. I did hear, though, that Biden came out on Monday, or was it Friday? I forget. He came out and said, obviously, we're not going to stand for, a full claiming of a full attack on Ukraine. However, if it's a small incursion, that we'll have to kind of view that differently. Maybe there's something else that we'll have to do. If it's just a small incursion, to me, that's the kind of rhetoric that inspires all this activity across the world. It's like he's not just like, I don't know, putting his iron fist down and saying, no, we decided that Ukraine is not yours, no matter how much of it, and you can't take it. You know what I mean? I feel like there's rhetoric.
There's no givesy backsies in the world today. Like this might have worked 30 years ago, but there's no like somebody declares independence and you go back and take it. I mean, that doesn't work. I mean, the British tried it here in America and it didn't work for them. But
listen, I'm not like a pro-Trumper. That's not why. I'm with you. Voted for 3 different political parties for president. I vote on policy, and obviously it is what it is. But this time around, I feel like Trump was crazy. Trump tweeted way too much, and Trump got everybody all worked up all the damn time. Most importantly, like the entire electorate here. But there's something to be said for Trump's rhetoric internationally with foreign policy that kind of prevented Putin from doing anything from 2016 to 2020. Now that he's out of office, here we are.
Well, a lot of people will say it's because they were buddies. You're always going to see the political one way or the other. People will say, well, it's because Trump was tough on one side. The other side's going to be like, well, it's because they were in bed with each other. But I mean, I think that this just becomes a, back and forth and then like load up on troops on both sides and then go away and then load up again. I don't see it actually happening. But if Russia were to invade into Ukraine, I can't see a World War III, because what are you going to do? You can't set off nukes because, it's self-preservation, and we're not going to world war over Ukraine. I'm going to be honest with you. I think at this point, the EU would just be like, I'm sorry, Ukraine, get fucked, dude. We don't condone this, but I'm sorry, dude. He's got bigger, like, I'm not really ready for this. So, some people are out there beating the drums of war and saying China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, who was such a stupid
claiming Crimea has actually cost them in the first year that they claimed Crimea, it cost them 4% in GDP. Oil is 7% of their entire GDP over there. And because the Western side of the world attacked and OPEC didn't do anything to stabilize pricing, it plummeted. It's actually cost them net like 10% in their GDP over the past 4 or 5 years. So I don't know what the move accomplishes in the short term. However, you can kind of tell in the long term, they just kind of want this. They want it. He's talking about pro-Russian separatists.
They just want to swing their dick out. That's all they want to do. And now's the time to do it, because they know that the world is so just fragmented from the economies that are messed up, COVID, from Brexit and everything like that. And then we've got, the US has the Democrat Party, and historically, as we talked about what happened, this is like, you know what, fuck it, let's just go. What are they gonna do? Either way, we cause a lot of shit, and that's what's gonna happen. I think that's where we're at. And you know what, Biden, a lot of people look at him as like an older guy who's not going to do anything, but every now and then he wakes up and he has a little Trump in him.
So, speaking of rhetoric, Biden's rhetoric, maybe being a little on the softer side. He's, like you said, he woke up. Guys, I don't know if you saw this story, but Biden calls a Fox News reporter a stupid son of a bitch on a hot mic. I think it was on, what was it, on C-SPAN? Or where was it broadcast? If you guys didn't see the clip, you guys need to go, Google it, go on Twitter or whatever. There's this 23-second clip. So Peter Doocy, so here's the article, guys, on CNBC. It says President Joe Biden called Fox News White House reporter Peter Doocy a stupid son of a bitch Monday on a live mic after Doocy asked Biden whether inflation was a political liability for him. The verbal slip took place during a White House event on Biden administration efforts to combat inflation. After the president complained that all the press questions were about the military buildup around Ukraine, Doocy shouted, "Will you take questions about inflation? Do you think inflation is a political liability ahead of the midterms?" Thinking his mic was turned off, Biden responded, "No, that's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch." I mean, that's just funny. That's just funny. And what a dumb question that was. Like, I mean,
but that's Peter. So for those who don't know, and you don't watch the stream, every time Jen Psaki or Paskey or whatever you want to call her has a press conference, we always joke that Peter buys puts before he goes in there, because everyone else like throws softball questions, whatever like that, and Peter just goes for the throat every time. Like he's just going, and you could see the look in her eyes, like she's like, "Fuck this guy again." So I love that it was him that triggered Biden, and I love that Biden broke out and became Clint Eastwood for a minute there. And it was so great, because it's like it was just a moment that I'm so happy was caught on tape. And it's not about like there's look, Biden is really just a hot-tempered person too. And the other people are like, well, he's not as bad. Trump dude much worse. I don't care about all that.
Who cares?
I fucking loved it. I loved that Peter got him riled up, and I love that Biden went nuts on him. It was a great moment in TV, and I'm so happy it happened.
You know how annoying it is when people are asking you questions that they have a hidden agenda to, like a question behind a question,
I have no idea.
You think I do this to you? What is this? What is this?
No,
right
I'm
here?
talking about my stream.
Oh, okay, your stream. Listen, I'm more saying rhetorically, beyond a response directly from you. I'm just saying rhetorically. Yeah, it's just so frustrating when people are asking you questions. You can tell there's a hidden agenda. You can tell they have some sort of predisposition or some sort of assumption about you or an answer. They're trying to elicit an answer from you. It's like a guiding question. Whatever. People like that in this world are very annoying. The president of the United States deals with that like every damn day. People coming at him from either side, because everything is obviously, this world's so damn political. So it's like, I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrats do it. If you're a Democrat, Republicans do it. And it's just got to be so annoying. It's just fundamentally, it's just got to be so tiring to get that all the damn time. So to hear Biden have a human moment like this is awesome. He just goes.
I mean, I used to love, and we talked about ratings ever since Trump left, but I used to love watching the press conferences when Trump's secretary Kayleigh was in there, and the reason is because unlike now where 90% of the reporters are throwing softball questions, because let's be honest, I mean, regardless of your political party, you have to kind of know that media tends to be center left or left leaning for the most part, right? So now, because most of the media is that way, they throw her softball questions, and then the one guy who's like on the opposite is just like grilling her. So it seems like much worse. But when it was flipped and Kayleigh was in office, it was 90% people just going at her every single day and just trying to just get her riled up. And then there was that one ONANN like Trump media, like right wing, like lady who was always really nice. But Kayleigh was always just so pissed off, and she would always mic drop and walk out every time. So it's must see TV. I loved the moment, and it made me happy.
It is very awesome. I love Biden for that. He said afterwards, Ducey appeared on Fox News after his exchange with Biden, where the Five co-host Jesse Waters joked with his colleague and said, "I think the president's right. You are a stupid son of a bitch." Ducey apparently then said nobody's fact checked that yet, and it's not true. So I mean, come on, you got to play it up. You got to play it up. If the president gets you on one, don't get all, don't get your pride hurt. He got you on one. Just be like, yeah.
No, you don't know because it's like with anything. If you get roasted and you lean into it, or you're whatever, you do something stupid, and you lean into it, people will love you more.
That's what
if
I'm
you try to
saying.
deny it, it's like the whole thing with getting canceled we talked about, right? Like where like the people who try to like apologize, or the people who try to like, whatever, they're the ones who get ruined. But the people who lean into it or just kind of disappear, they don't piss off anybody except the people already pissed off who get over. I like I said, it was a great moment. It was the great grandfather. But you know what? Hot mics are one thing in political conferences and political meetings, but hot Zoom calls. And when I mean hot, I mean hot.
Guys, according to this article on NME.com, Final Fantasy VII porn interrupts an Italian government meeting. The NSFW clip was definitely not suitable for government meetings either. So, I mean, it's one thing to, let a little side remark go. It's another thing to literally just full on watch anime porn while you're supposed to be on government time. It says on Monday, January 17th, the Italian Senate hosted a Zoom meeting to discuss data transparency and political decision making, which was broadcast live on Facebook. According to Italian wire service ANSA, all was well for the first 30 minutes, but when it came time to introduce Giorgio Parisi, one of last year's Nobel Prize winners in physics, someone hijacked the meeting by sharing their screen while playing the unofficial Final Fantasy VII porn. Wait, hold on. So it wasn't like he was watching porn and didn't know how to really work tech and accidentally screen shared?
They were bringing on a Nobel Prize winner, and when they brought up the screen, instead of him, it was legitimately a Final Fantasy 3D character bent over getting railed from behind. And not just that, you could hear the slaps. It went on for a while. Like, it wasn't one of those quick cuts. These are a bunch of old Italian people who are like, what is going on? I don't understand. What is this? I don't even know. His salami is in her cannoli. I don't understand. It was amazing. It was amazing. It went on for way too long. And my favorite part is that the global Google trends for Final Fantasy porn skyrocketed.
So it says to begin with, five-star movement Senator Maria Laura Mantovani continues speaking over the video, seemingly unaware of what's happening. It then takes several seconds to stop the porn from playing, but takes even longer to silence the audio. Eventually,
exactly. You just keep hearing the slaps, man. It's such a great. You should really watch it after this. It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't know Final Fantasy porn existed, but I do now, and I may or may not have spent research time seeing what it was
you
about.
Heavily weighted at SEO for him. Good for you. Good for you. So speaking, I'm happy for you, Stocky. I'm happy for you had that moment for yourself. So speaking to ADN Chrono,
a couple moments for myself actually.
Senator Mantovani, who sat at the meeting, said this afternoon there was a very serious episode, a real attack against which I express absolute disdain. During an online conference, someone broke in secretly by transmitting a video with pornographic content. I proceeded to report everything to the competent authorities so that they can proceed to identify the person responsible. Yeah, I guess they're gonna have to take it seriously. Whatever. It's freaking hilarious. It is.
Come on. I mean, the best part is that they didn't notice it. They think it's a Nobel Prize winner. It's just Nobel fucking dick, and then on top of that, you know, they turn off the thing and you just hear the slaps, man. You just hear the
Nobel dick.
and you know what's going on. It's amazing. But you know what? I mean,
listen, if you're gonna if we're in this world where all of a sudden anime characters and everything, obviously I understand the internet's very deep, but like all of this anime, all of these non-human things are getting sexualized. I mean, it's not like it's inconsistent with the rest of the news. Guys, according to this article on thehill.com, M&M characters are to become more inclusive. So they're going to be speaking on the gender and the inclusivity of M&M characters, which I didn't know really was going on. I definitely have been seeing a lot of M&M memes though, and I haven't really understood it. So I'm glad that we had this pre-show where Stocky got to educate me a little bit. Guys, the article says candy is about to get more inclusive, with the maker of M&M'S announcing its famed characters are getting modern makeovers and will have more nuanced personalities. Mars Incorporated, the company behind the colorful candy-coated chocolates, announced Thursday a global commitment to creating a world where everyone feels they belong and society is inclusive. As part of the new mission to increase the sense of belonging for 10 million people around the world by 2025, Mars said the M&M's characters, who serve as mascots of sorts for the brand, would be receiving fresh, new looks. And I think the hot button M&M that everyone has been talking about, I think who you say it was Tucker Carlson who was discussing the sexualization of this M&M.
Yeah,
or something
he
like
lost
that.
his mind when they were going to make the brown M&M less sexy.
So he says that, or at least this says, the green M&M, previously seen in ads posing seductively and strutting her stuff in white go-go boots, will now sport a pair of sneakers. A description for the green candy on the M&M's website says she enjoys being a hype woman for my friends. Listen, I've been hearing people be upset about the reduction in sexualization of this green M&M. First off, I would say, please don't sexualize candy. Can we just not do that?
I mean, let's be honest though, that green M&M would get it.
I mean, I guess formerly, but I don't, or maybe even presently, I don't really know. All I know is that this is a new campaign from M&M's, and I guess, like you said, what did Tucker Carlson say? What was that whole thing? Because
he was losing his mind saying that they're trying to make these female M&Ms less, hot because they think that men are this way and that they want to take the sexualization of the beauty of women and dumb it all down because whatever. He like lost his mind over the M&Ms. Now, listen, that's not the only one they're doing. Like the what is it? The yellow one that's all like stuttering and whatever. He's gonna get confident, and the red one's gonna be less of an asshole, and the green one's gonna have sneakers, and the brown one's gonna have flats and stuff like that. Like I get where they're going with it, but it just seems like this was a non-issue. Now, the only thing I can think of is that M&M is gonna do this, announce this, the ultimate marketing, like hate marketing campaign ever, and then take it back at the end. That may be, and if that's the case, it's five head because they're not actually changing the candy, but they're getting enough outrage. I mean, look at Peloton, okay? Peloton did the YouTube commercial that everyone hated and lost it, and you know what? Then the COVID happened, everyone remembered it, everyone went out and bought, and they turned into a $8 billion market cap or $80 billion market cap before they started crashing. So you never know. Now, like I said back, I'm not going to take back what I said. I realized I said out loud what I meant to say in my head is that green M&M would get it. I meant that as if I was also an M&M. And not to offend anyone, but it would matter to me whether that M&M was chocolate-filled, caramel-filled, or nut-filled. That is not that I'm not inclusive. I'm all about, experimenting with whatever you want. But I'm not. If I was an M&M, I would not bang that M&M if it was nut filled,
I'm
peanut
just
filled.
saying, we're out here, we're watching this Final Fantasy. The Italian government's watching this Final Fantasy 7 porn. It's all these video game cartoon characters, and then you got Tucker Carlson over here being upset because the candy's not sexual enough. I'm like, bro, can we just be normal? Why? What is all this? What is all this going on? Can we just Can
we stop kink shaming? Can we make 2022 the year of not kink shaming? As long as it's legal and everyone is a consenting adult, can we stop kink shaming?
That's
okay.
Fine.
You know what?
Listen, I
if
got no
you are
problem with
into
any of
being
this.
tied up, if you like toys, if you like fantasy plays, if you like when your wife is doing her thing and you kind of like move your leg to the side to give her a hint and she kind of sneaks a finger in the butt and whatever like that, and you pretend that you don't realize that she's doing it, but then you kind of like pushed down a little bit, and then she kind of gets into, like, can we not kink shame? Like, I feel like we've gotten to a point where people should be allowed to love and do what they want as long as they're not hurting anybody.
Just M&M's, bro. I mean, listen, I get it. You like the
no, I don't want
stuff.
M&M's in my we're back on the other story. Oh yeah.
No,
I mean, if somebody's into that though, I mean, do it.
I'm saying, like, if you like the cartoon stuff with the Final Fantasy characters, whatever, more power to you. For me, I'm gonna draw a line at candy. I'm gonna say, can we leave the candy alone? Let it be candy. Don't do this. Don't do this thing.
Wait, are you in favor of this?
Of what? Inclusivity?
No. See, I know what you're doing there. No. You're not making this a broad subject. I'm talking about a specific subject.
Am I in favor
Are you
of what?
are you like, oh yeah, I applaud this. I think it's a great move.
I am always for brands and companies taking a forward progressive step as far as rhetoric and conversation around social issues. I think it's a good thing that's happening in the world on TikTok, guys. According to an article on Forbes, top earning TikTokers, Charlie and Dixie D'Amelio and Addison Rae expand fame and paydays. It says over the last year, the biggest TikTok stars' earnings have surged, driven partly by their efforts to broaden their fame beyond the platform that first turned them into celebrities. This is certainly the case with the sisters atop our list of the highest earning TikTokers, the D'Amelio sisters. Where is a number here? It says, and together the sisters have a lucrative brand, Social Tourist, a joint venture with Hollister, sold at roughly 500 of the retail stores. All this helped push their earnings up to a combined $27.5 million from less than $7 million a year earlier. Jesus, almost 4x growth, $27.5 million if you're on TikTok and you're making it big. Meanwhile, Addison Rae has starred in one Netflix movie, He's All That, and signed a new multi-film deal with the streamer. Josh Richards has also appeared in a Netflix movie, Under the Stadium Lights, and started his own production company, Crosscheck Studios, a joint venture with Mark Wahlberg's production unit. Altogether, the highest paid TikTok stars collectively earned $55.5 million in 21, up 200% from the year before. Damn, bro. You on TikTok?
TikTok is massive.
You on TikTok?
I'm not. I tried doing TikTok. I don't know how to do it. I don't have the time, the wherewithal. I don't understand that whole thing. I could hire somebody and whatever. I don't know. I just, you know what? My thing is that I could always make more money. I've understood that. Whether you want to call it lazy, whether you want to call it smart, whether you want to call it not worth it, there's a fine line between, my time and my money, and I'm comfortable with where I'm at right now. I could be way more off, but I'd have to put in more effort. No, I'd have to hire people. I'd have to learn shit. I'd have to spend more time. I'm already doing a million things. No, but TikTok makes sense. I mean, we just saw that Snapchat, speaking of companies and stocks, they've been talking about how Snapchat's going to be losing out to TikTok. I mean, TikTok was the most visited site in the world. We talked about that on a previous podcast. That's just how it is. And people have very, very short attention spans. I mean, look at YouTube right now. I'll go through my YouTube feed and I'll see videos. They'll say 200,000 views, 300,000 views, 500,000 views. And then it'll show me shorts and it'll be like 11 million, 20 million, 60 million. And it's just what it is. We have short attention spans, and that's where it goes. And these guys have found a way to sustain an audience. But the question will be, can TikTok do what Vine couldn't? And will people be able to transition from short videos into long format? Because now that I think YouTube has actually started the shorts and pushed into it because they think that if TikTok does get banned or it goes away like Vine did and people move to the platform, they need to be ready for them, because so many Vine superstars were not able to transition. It's just like YouTubers have a hard time on Twitch because it's live, right? And going from short form to long form is there. But you know what? I'm not a hater. I say, listen, if you are bringing in content that is bringing that many eyeballs that you created on your own, you know what? If somebody wants to pay you that, go for it. Good on you.
Yeah, the funny thing about TikTok for me, and I've said this to you many times. I've said it on the podcast many times. I'm an Adam Smith guy. I think Invisible Hand just kind of takes care of itself. You earn what the market bears. If you're making money, it's because there's demand for what you do at that level. And good on you. Obviously that's just generally
I kind of agree with you.
That's generally speaking.
You have to have an agency. You have to make sure the coffee company you're with isn't screwing you over and payment. There's a lot of things that go there because everyone's trying to make money and save money. So yeah, it just depends on how good you are at negotiating too.
That's the whole point of it. You're worth what you can negotiate. And that's, I believe that. And TikTok is what it is. Good for these guys making money. They're celebrities. If it's TikTok today, it's gonna be something else tomorrow. The thing that is remarkable to me is that whatever else it is tomorrow, just like whatever happened, yesterday, metaphorically yesterday, a few years ago when TikTok was getting popular, literally the age range of like 21 to 42, everyone was like, oh, TikTok, that's for teeny boppers, that's for 12-year-olds, blah, 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 blah. That's like the highest growing demographic now for TikTok, is that specific demographic that 5 years ago or 3 years ago, 4 years ago was just absolutely shitting on it, saying that, oh, this is for kids, I'll never do this, blah, blah. Somebody, I have some friends that are in their 30s. I remember 3 or 4 years ago, I shared a TikTok link, and their response was, what are you doing sharing a TikTok link? What are you, 11 years old? I'm like, bro, TikTok is growing. You can either figure it out or you can hate on it. I don't see the point in hating on it. So go ahead and figure it out. And now to this day, they'll share TikToks. And I'm like, excuse me, Mr. Hypocrite, do you might not remember what you said 3 or 4 years ago? It's the same people that like literally 3 months ago were telling me, oh, NFTs, what's that? I can just take a picture. I can just copy and paste the picture, and now it's mine. Now I own it, blah, blah, blah. And now they're getting...
actually go on TikTok. I've only scrolled through TikTok twice in my life. Once when I was starting my TikTok, and another one, I downloaded the app because I was trying to do something, and I scrolled through it. I didn't find it enjoyable because it was too all over the place for me, and I didn't enjoy the content, and I'm more of an in-depth kind of guy, and I also have severe ADHD, so I get bored very easily. But I don't have social media just because I don't like social media, and I always found that I was spending way too much time on it, or I was always friends with people that I didn't actually like. Like, do you notice, like, for example, before I closed out my Facebook, I realized that 90% of the people on there were people I didn't know or never liked, but they were people I went to high school or met or were friends of people, just because it's like it made it feel good, and I was wanting to get self-gratification of people liking the things I shared or whatever.
Dopamine rush.
And I was, for a while there, I was like seeing the shit that they posted, and I was like, I don't give a shit about you. I don't give a shit about you. I hated you. You're a piece of shit. Wow, you are full of crap. Wow, that is you know what? I'm done. And I just got rid of it. So the only social media I have is Twitter because I use it for business. YouTube because I use it for business. I don't have a Facebook. I don't have a Snapchat. I don't have an Instagram. I have a business Instagram that I don't use. And I don't have a TikTok. I don't. And I make me boomer, but you know what? I'm not upset about it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I disconnected and I disconnected from that reality and found my own. I'm not that kind of fucking guy. I'm not some fucking pescatarian who lies and says he's a vegetarian. I'm actually true to myself. And so I'm okay with it. And it works for me. You know what I mean? It works for me. My wife spends a lot of time on Facebook, but it is what it is.
You didn't say Twitch. You didn't say you have a Twitch, by the way. And that's where you spend most of your time.
Is that social media?
Is Twitch social media? Of course Twitch is social media. What else would it be?
I guess I don't think of it because it's not like posts with comments and shit.
Yeah,
I had a hashtag make MySpace great again. That's it. 2 things I want. I want 2022 to be the year that we stop kink shaming, and I want 2022 to be the year that we bring back MySpace. Take this, make it a short, and there's your video right there. Okay? Hashtag make MySpace again. Hashtag stop kink shaming. Hashtag your wife's finger in the butt is not a big deal.
I don't think anyone said it was a big deal.
Tell another guy that. I mean, I don't do that. I'm not into that, but like there are guys out there that are into that.
I thought you just said you didn't want to kink shame.
I didn't say it was bad. I just said people are into it. Just because I'm not into it. I don't suck dick, but I don't have a problem with somebody sucking a dick.
Guys, this story on Forbes.com describes the earnings of all these dang TikTokers. They must all go to Wharton. All of these kids all collectively must go to Wharton because apparently the idea of an average American's annual earnings are a little warped for some Wharton students. According to this article on Newsweek.com, it says Wharton students not having a clue how much the average American earns sparks jokes and memes. So guys, the story goes that Twitter users were quick to voice their opinions after a professor at the Wharton School of the University of Philadelphia tweeted about how much her students think the average American earns. Nina Strominger, professor of legal studies and business ethics at Wharton, tweeted on Wednesday night, I asked Wharton students what they thought the average American worker makes per year, and 25% of them thought it was over 6 figures. One of them thought it was 800K. Really not sure what to make of this. The real number is 45K. The tweet had been retweeted more than 9,600 times as of Thursday morning and liked more than 56,000 times. There were 2,800 quote tweets of her statement, too. This is the tweet right here. She goes, I don't know what to make of this. But I mean, it's getting so much traction because the idea that all of these, like, I don't know, can we just, I mean, again, broad stroke, like all these quote unquote, like rich kids not having an idea of what reality is like. Everybody is going to be very quick to have an opinion on that. This is ridiculous. 800K, man.
About it, these guys most likely all come from communities. They come from wealthy, wealth. They come from communities where everybody they know is in the upper class. Like they don't have it. They probably have been out and saw people that worked in retail, but thought, hey, if this person works at this store and I'm buying a jacket for $1,000 and a purse for $6,000, they must be getting, 10-20% of that. So they must be six-figure earners. They don't understand how that works. It's a lot of them is not their fault. So as funny as it is, it's not like I blame them, but come on. I mean, this is why I think that now that I'm later in life and I have success, I'm so happy that I was poor. And I know that this is going to sound wrong, right? Like nobody's happy they were poor. Like I don't wish I was ever, I don't ever wish how poor I was, like eating out of dumpsters and having, being sick and dealing with all that. But like, I feel like because of that, my perspective on life is so much different. And it's not about me wanting to help people. I love helping people and I love giving, whatever I can when I can. But the idea is it's like, okay, I understand the value of money. I understand where this is. And I understand how hard other people work because I've been there. I told you this before and I'll say it again. In Israel, they require you by law to do 2 years of military service when you're 18. I think in America, everyone should be required to spend at least 1 year working in retail, hospitality, food and beverage, or leisure, just so you can see what it's like to make nothing, work hard, get shit on, be underappreciated, and just hate your fucking life.
Yeah, I mean, I worked in retail for 4 years. Get shit on is the best way to put it. People lose their senses. They treat other humans like robots, or just like service bots, So I'm with that. I've always believed the same thing, that everybody should either work in a kitchen or work in retail.
I'm having my own stream. I finally get to shit back.
This is tweet on the webpage. It says, I'm sure there are plenty of homes in NYC that cost $100,000, and it's just a doghouse. It's literally just a doghouse and a dog sitting in it, just looking longingly out the door with his little yellow food bowl right here. Guys,
I should have showed you this picture. Somebody shared on Reddit their studio apartment in Brooklyn, or in Harlem actually, and it was just this little brick thing. It had a twin size bed about 1.5 feet to the wall. It didn't have a burner or a stovetop. It had a mini fridge and a shared bathroom, and the guy was paying $2,000 a month.
Ugh, man. See, so like the article makes this comment. It says people are notoriously bad at making this kind of estimate, thinking the gap between rich and poor is smaller than it is. But then it also says, hold on, where's the note that I had just seen prior? This note in the article says something right here. It says 6 figures in an expensive city like Philadelphia is worth less than 45K in a lot of the country. That's
insane.
That's I guess if you're gonna extend an olive branch out, there is a massive disparity in like some of our major metros. Like you make $100,000 in LA or in New York. It's nothing like making 75 or 80K in a smaller town like Des Moines or something like that. Like cost of living disparity is just so massive.
Yeah, you could be the 1% or a 1%er in Des Moines, Iowa makes far less than a 1%er in New York City. But what's crazy is that we always think that everyone's richer than us because those are the only people we notice. We don't notice the guy or the girl walking down the street that's average looking or not doing anything special, or the homeless people. We only notice the people who are driving the fancy cars, right? Like you don't remember the 1,000 cars that you saw parked, but you remember the Ferrari. We only remember the movies of people. That's what we do. So we automatically assume that that's where we're at. But do you know that if you make $100,000 a year in America, you were in the top like 20% of people? Like if you were in a group of 100 people, 80 people make less than you, right? And if you are in a small town, you're even better than that. So like, and according to the world, like in the world, I mean, half the world makes like $1 a day. If you make $35,000 a year in the United States, you're in the top 0.5% in the world. It's insane. And my people listen to me, and I'm very open and honest, but I've had people get really mad at me when I say I'm glad that we have billionaires now. And that's a conversation we should have next time, because I'm going to save that. Save that for next one. I want to leave a cliffhanger. And then next stream, I want to go into, and this is going to make you guys come back, all you hate watchers, why I'm happy that we have billionaires.
I mean, billionaires is one thing. We have a ton of millionaires now. Some people are becoming millionaires just by checking their spam folder and their email. Guys, according to this,
well, I do need to write back the Nigerian prince.
Guys, this is not a Nigerian prince story. This is an article on BBC.com that says U.S. woman finds $3 million lottery ticket in junk email folder. Laura Spears, right here, you guys see her. It says a U.S. woman discovered that she had won $3 million from the lottery after checking her spam folder. Laura Spears, 55, had purchased a Mega Millions ticket online from the state lottery after she saw the jackpot climbing into the hundreds of millions. A few days later, I was looking for a missing email from someone, so I checked the spam folder in my email account. She told lottery officials. That's when I saw an email from the lottery saying I had won a prize. I couldn't believe what I was reading, so I logged into my lottery account to confirm the message in the email. She said calling the win shocking. She now plans to retire early and to monitor her emails more closely in the future. Man,
two things. One, when did the lottery start emailing people?
I didn't know that either. I thought you just got to hold on to that damn ticket. You take it home, and if you lose it, that's on you.
And number two, I am never going to click on a fucking email that says I just won the lottery. I'm sorry. It's not, there's no way. If you saw something that said something from, Missouri lottery department, would you open it?
No, I don't open almost any email unless it's from someone either in our company or someone that I know specifically externally that I have an appointment coming up with, or I know I'm
with you. Know. I'm not big on opening emails either.
Jesus, here we go. 145K, yo, with the 511 missed text messages coming back, dating back from 2017.
We have to do 2 segments. We have to have my rant at the end and me going back to the oldest unread text message. I feel like that's how we should end every show.
Guys, speaking of the end of the show, thank you all for hanging out with us today. Thank you so much.
Oh, is it the end already?
It's time to do your rant and time to do your check your text messages. We're rounding the corner
let me
here.
check my last unread text message. All the way back from 11/16/2017. It says, "Hey Jason, just wanted to make sure John was out okay. So happy for him to be through this difficult time. Please tell him I'm here if he needs anything or has any questions about stuff."
Who's John? What are you talking about? Someone's texting you asking about John? Seeing if John's okay? What is this?
I don't know who this is.
They asked you if John was okay.
I never answered back.
Probably because you don't know who John is.
No, I know who John is.
Oh, you do know who John is?
I don't have a name on this, though. Oh, shit. This was his ex-wife.
Is John a close friend of yours?
Yeah.
Is John okay today?
Yeah, but why didn't I answer back? This was 2017.
Because it was a random number.
I'm flying back from Arkansas today. I'll be reachable until 3 between 6 and 7 and after 9:30.
Arkansas, I almost said, instead of Des Moines, I almost said Little Rock. So that would have been the second time that Arkansas came up today. Shout out Arkansas, by the way, if you guys are listening from there.
I hope that they know that he's okay.
I mean, that was in 2017. They probably did their own follow-up, bro. But guys, for those of you that aren't aware or didn't really fully take in or appreciate what you just saw on the screen, Stocky has 511 missed text messages dating back to 2017. The last time we looked at a text message from Stocky's old messages, it was someone asking Stocky, "Hey, where are you?"
The one that wanted to meet me at the TD Bank.
Yeah, they wanted to meet him at the where the I thought it was where the
That's my newest unread message. This is from. Let's see. What
newest
am I
isn't
missing?
as fun. It was probably just before we started recording. Newest isn't as good as oldest. Oldest is way better.
Newest is a number I've never heard of that says, "Karen, I lost my phone at the last party. This is my new number. Please save to your phone."
Addressing you as Karen?
Yeah.
Were you kind of a Karen out in the world a little bit today? Like, did you go to the grocery store, ask for the manager maybe a couple too many times? Were you kind of a Karen today?
No, but you know what? That leads me into my rant. Well, you didn't even know, but that's going to lead me into my rant, okay? All right. Stocky's random rant for 1/25/2022. I will judge you based on two things. Not what you say, not what you do as a job, not your education level, not the color of your skin or the gender or what color M&M you want to fuck. That is not what I'm going to judge you on. There are two things I judge people on for a reason. Number one, what you do with your shopping cart when you're done. Okay? Let me tell you something. If you are within 100 feet of a cart bin and you're not disabled or have a crying kid, put that shit away. And if you're not, okay, please put it up on the grass or on the side. I was driving to a Publix, what was it, on Sunday, and I had to go find a good parking spot between the Publix and the vet because I had to take my dog, drop him in the vet while he was getting checked out, go to Publix, get some baby stuff, and go back and get the dog. There was one space and one space only anywhere near that, and there was two fucking shopping carts in the way. Normally, I wouldn't be too upset, but the reason I got more upset is because I had to get out and my dog was freaking out. And I didn't know if he was going to jump out and run in traffic. So I just circle around until I got another one. I'm not the guy who's going to circle around to find a close parking space. I'll just take one in the back. But this was the only one. There is something wrong with that person. That person needs to be put down. That person needs to be, that should be a capital offense. Okay? And number two that I'm going to judge you on is those you fuckers who don't pick up your dog shit, okay? And I don't care what time of day it is, okay? If it's at night, pick up the dog's shit, okay? I judge you based on what you do when no one is watching. And do you want to know why it pisses me off? I do it all the time. My wife even says, how come you're doing it? It's raining out. It'll wash away. Hey, it's dark. Nobody will see. Because I'm not a piece of shit, okay? Listen. I judge your character based on what you do when no one's watching, and if you get caught with it, you can't actually get in trouble, okay? Stop being a piece of shit and care about your fellow human being. Pick up your dog shit and put your damn shopping cart away. That's all I ask, okay? That's all I ask.
At a time where I was at a grocery store, I was working, and I was just stocking some shelves, and I went out to the parking lot for a second to unload a box, and I watched this lady get out, unload her shopping cart into her car. She closed her trunk. She started making her way to her door and at her driver's side door. And as she did, she kind of took the cart and just kind of shoved it off to the side with no care or regard of where it was going to go. And she got in her car and drove forward and left. That little bit of inertia that she gave the shopping cart slowly turned in to the shopping cart turning down because it was kind of on a hill, turning down, and like a missile started barreling right towards another car that was parked. And I just full Superman sprinted and grabbed it right before it hit it. But I have had the exact same pet peeve ever since that moment. Obviously, pre that, you'd always want to put your shopping cart away. But since that moment where I watched this lady just with such disregard for her fellow citizens, just let this thing go and almost door ding whatever car that it was heading towards. It might have been like a Camry or something. I don't know. I ran. I was thrilled. I saved it. But then I thought to myself, what kind of monster was that just got in that car and drove away? So I'm with you, man.
And the worst answer they always give is, well, they pay somebody to do that.
Guys, that was Stocky's rant of January 25th, 2022. Guys, let's do one more bonus story. I want to do one more bonus story because I don't want to miss this. Guys, we talked about him last time. John Daly. Real quick, this is out the door, guys. John Daly's
my spirit animal. I'm sorry.
John Daly's drunken Taco Bell order is the stuff of legend. If you guys are going to Taco Bell today, by the way, look at John Daly. Look at this professional athlete right here in this picture. Stocky, you can't see it, but he's got
that man is a champion.
This guy,
okay, that man is a U.S. Open winner. That man has won tournaments drunk off his ass. That man has driven 400 yards.
So I want to figure out.
You put some respect on that name.
It says, behold, John Daly's $446 Taco Bell order on Uber Eats, which he proudly posted on his Instagram story with the caption, "Don't drink and order Taco Bell on Uber Eats," a phrase we've all uttered to our hungover selves at some point in our lives. Total is $446. I mean, what on earth? He said
he's a big boy. I think he should have renamed himself to John Weekly.
Says John. that was low-hanging fruit. I mean, I'm proud of you, but that was low-hanging fruit. John Daly managed to rack up.
Not as low-hanging as your hairline.
Oh, is it good? Those taking jokes from your chat now.
No, somebody actually posted a picture. I was going to show it to you. They asked if you had ringworm. Apparently, you were missing some hair behind where your headphone is.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm getting older. I have
no. Is there like a bald spot right there? Can you take off your headphones and show me both sides? There it is.
What does it look like?
They asked if that was ringworm.
Bro, I don't know. I'm just losing my hair, but I'm I'm not shaken by it like you are. They make the joke to you, and you get all worked up. Make the joke to me.
You know why?
Sure.
Because I get paid $5 for every joke. I'll fucking take it. It's better than stripper.
He said he'll take it. Guys, Daily managed to rack up nearly half a G worth of T-Bell and 10 crunchy tacos and 10 spicy double steak burritos. Barely put over the $100 mark. What else did he get? We're probably better off not knowing. My stomach is trembling just thinking about it. Who knows what he got, man? He didn't post the whole thing. I mean, $446. $446 John Daly ordering when he's drunk. Guys, if you are getting drunk and ordering even $445 or less, you are you can say you're living better than John Daly, or you're maybe not living.
Why not just buy like 10 taco passes that we talked about last time and give one to a homeless person?
Guys, thank you all for being here today. Thank you so much for hanging out. Stocky, anything out the door you want to say and remind everybody on?
No, hell of a playoff weekend in football. Probably the best weekend of football I've ever seen. I was really bummed that the Bills didn't make it. I wanted to see an all underdog championship game. But you know what? Here you go. I'm gonna give you a little bonus rant for all of you fucks out there who are Monday morning quarterbacks who are like, the Bills should have squib kicked it, or why didn't they take more time off the clock, or that was the. You know what? I don't like the Chiefs. I hate champions, or not champions. I hate people that are just always winning because I love to see variety. Yeah. I tried telling my wife that didn't work well, but I love variety in life. And the thing is that I didn't want to see it, but all credit goes to Mahomes and Kels. I mean, they literally were able to, in 13 seconds, move 40 yards down the field and give themselves a chance to tie the game. And from what we hear, it was ad-libbed at the line. Kels got free and made the play. So all credit to Mahomes, Kels, and the Chiefs offense. I mean, that you can't take it away from them. Josh Allen, that was one of the greatest quarterback duels of all time. It was great, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I said that on Monday. On stream, I said, I'm not going to talk about a kickoff. We're not going to do this 2020 hindsight kickoff. You should have kicked it more shallow, 10 yards more shallow. You're splitting hairs at that point, okay? It was an amazing game. The only reason why that game ended is because the NFL rules made it so. We should have been able to see Josh Allen respond on another drive, because it honestly ended like Game of Thrones. It was so
Unless it
good.
was your team who won, and then and the other team's like, oh, the overtime rules suck. You'd be like, oh, sucks for you.
So I saw a stat. I think since 2014 in overtime games, the team that gets the ball first is 10-1. I think I saw that stat. Which is ridiculous. I mean, come on, NFL, update your rules. If not, for the very least, we deserve to see Josh Allen have the ball one more time. But you're right, this was an incredible weekend of football games. 15 points was the collective differential across all 4 games. 3 of them, all 4 games regulation ended with a field goal. 3 games ended entirely with a field goal. The Kansas City Buffalo game ended with a field goal that tied it, sent it to overtime, which is exactly what we're talking about. Great football, man. I'm glad you watched it. It was amazing. It was Bills Chiefs might have been the best football game I've ever seen in my entire life.
How about we make a compromise, NFL? I know you're not watching this, but just in case. How about each team gets a drive, okay? And if there's not a declared winner, we go into one more overtime where you have the rules you have now.
Yeah, that's fair.
There you go. Everybody got a second drive. They didn't get it. All right, now you basically coin flip, and then if you score a touchdown or a safety, game's over, and then we go from there. How about that?
That's good. What it should be is each team gets to start their drive at their own 25-yard line. If you don't put up any points, or if it's tied at the end of both drives, then it goes into what you can call basically a 10-minute overtime that starts with a coin.
And then if it's still tied after there, I say you get both of the opposing team's quarterbacks, get them naked, get them oiled down, and they can go in my cockfighting ring at the end.
Guys, this was episode 11 of the Stocky and Alex Show, the podcast that covers topics around the world. Stocky wants to see the quarterbacks naked. Business, news, markets, money, sports. If people are talking about it, so are we. I think I heard a little moan after that. Stocky and Alex Show can be watched, listened, and viewed on YouTube and Spotify. It will soon be able to be downloaded. I'll look over at you. You look so satisfied with it. Be downloaded and listened to wherever podcasts are downloaded. Follow the show on Twitter, Insta, LinkedIn, TikTok, and all the major socials, y'all. Thank you guys so much for hanging out today. Enjoy the rest of your week. We will be back in February. Can't believe January's already over. Guys, we will see you then. Bye-bye.
Oh, shit. Valentine's Day.
Get your reservations. Get your reservations. Make reservations for a nice place.
No. I'm telling you right now. If we're not deleted yet, listen. If you want to impress your girl, don't take her out to dinner. Go and buy a bunch of seaweed rolls and rice and stuff, and make sushi together. It's a fun activity. You get to eat something fancy. You do it by the candlelight. When you're done, you eat, and you're gonna get laid. Trust me. Bye.